Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. This is your host, Josh Peak, and I have Josh Treadaway back, baby.
I'm back, baby.
By high demand. Okay, so it was just me. But anyway,
That's demand enough for me, baby.
no one wants to hear just me, especially just me.
I enjoy listening to just you.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I can tell you that doing a solo podcast, you sitting in here and you're like bouncing jokes off yourself and while I used to think I was funny, now I'll just listen to me all the time, and I'm like, "Shut up! No one cares." You know what I mean?
Listen, I think I'm the funniest guy I know.
There's times, there's moments, especially when we did our little "What's New, Pussycat" dance. So you were going to tell me about a John Mulaney story. What was the story?
Well, no, I was asking if you heard his story about how he went to eat dinner at a diner late night, and
I may have.
he put like $10 in like the jukebox.
Oh, yeah.
And he played, that song over and over and over again. And then like after the fourth time, he played a different song, and everybody in the whole place, he's like, and then as soon as that song ended, it went right back into it. He said, "You never seen seen grown people cry? It's the greatest thing in the world." Now, obviously, I didn't tell it nearly as well as he did.
Oh, no. It's great, though.
If you get a chance to, if anyone in the audience gets a chance to Google that or YouTube that is a funny skit, the way he tells it.
Yeah. That was on his Netflix special where he's got the Broadway lights and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was at Carnegie Hall, I believe.
Yeah, Carnegie Hall, yeah.
I believe he was at Carnegie Hall on that one.
That was before he did the animated show. What's the animated little kid show?
With him and
I'm going through changes. What's it? Big Mouth.
Big Mouth, yeah. He did that with his buddy what's his name?
John Krasinski. No,
it wasn't Krasinski. It's the guy who was on I had his name in my head just a minute ago. He did the show about fantasy football.
Who created the show Big Mouth on Netflix?
I can't remember his name right now. I know. As soon as I heard it, they also do a Broadway like stand-up kind of show thing too.
Andrew Goldberg.
Okay, that's not the guy I'm thinking of.
Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll, that's the guy I'm thinking of.
Nick Kroll's the other comedian.
Yeah, he does it. He does they do like a Broadway kind of comedy, like banter back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah, Jenny Slate's one of the voices. Jordan Peele does a voice. Love Jordan Peele. Fred Armisen does a voice.
Well, you go for Jordan Peele straight into what we didn't talk about last time we did a podcast.
Right. So to talk about that, like, because we were all over the map. We got ADHD but we can follow each other, which is the funny part. So I don't know how we do it, but we do it. I had told you that I watched the show Lovecraft Country on HBO. I think it came out like a good year ago because my brother had watched it, and my brother was like, "Dude, this is so good." And I had tried to watch the first episode, when I was working out of town in a hotel. They had HBO, and I hate watching commercials, so I was like, "I'm going to watch this." So I was watching it, and through the first episode, I was like, what am I watching? Because it was so weird. And I didn't think that I would get into it. I was like, I don't know. This is so weird. So obviously time has passed. I'm injured. I'm sitting at the house. I'm waiting for stuff to do. We hadn't yet begun our projects that we got into this weekend, but I was sitting there and I was like, all right, let me watch this show. Cause I mean, that first one was really weird. I don't exactly know what was going on. Cause I thought that it was like about racial inequality and,
that's what it seemed like to me as well.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden it took this drastic, like horror flick kind of film where all of a sudden there's vampires. And I'm like, what?
And it's not traditional vampires. It's like a really, but it's a very similar idea.
It's gory and it's guts and it's.
But just like I told when I watched it with Chrissy, I said, I've already watched 3 episodes. Give it to the end of the second episode before you decide if you want to watch this show with me or not. Because the first one, you don't know really what you're watching.
Yeah.
Once you get through the second episode, at the end of the second, you know if you're hooked or not.
Yeah. So at the end of the first, there's this giant monster thing, and you're like, you don't know if it's good or bad or what's going on, or if it saved the day, or if it was something else. You're just like, what? What am I watching? Like it was like, So anyway, I'm sitting in the house. I finished another series because that's what I do, and I click on Lovecraft Country, and I was like, let's just roll number 2, see what happens. Second episode. Second episode, they get into this whole creationism thing about Adam and Eve, and
Yeah.
and
Trying
how
to go
this
back to the
guy is
garden.
somehow tied into the origins of people, and I'm like, wait, what? And then, I mean, it just gets crazier every episode I watch. I mean, I watched the whole thing, and I was telling you about it. I think you said you finished number 4.
I finished 4. Yeah, I finished 4 so far.
So I tried to broadly talk about it on Facebook, and I was like, okay, listen, this is amazing. And I didn't realize it until like one of the last episodes. I saw the credits rolling that it was created by Jordan Peele and J.J. Abrams. Well, Jordan Peele's known for his really interesting look at society, and taking like this hard edge on, this is the story that's not told from the Black American.
Right, but he's also a
But
very
he's
big
also
horror
a
fan.
very science fiction fan, and J.J. Abrams is known for his science fiction. A lot of people don't know this, but he started off doing there was a TV show with Jennifer Garner called Alias.
Alias, yeah.
He started this production company called Bad Robot, and Alias was awesome. I mean, Alias came out, I want to say, after 9/11, and it was a kick butt show, and it really catapulted Jennifer Garner to be a superstar. I mean, immediately. And since then, he's taken on stuff like Star Trek and Star Wars, and he's known now as this big sci-fi guy. He's the guy to go to whenever you want to do something like that.
And to his credit, he knocked him out the box.
Yes. A lot of people give him a lot of crap for especially the Star Wars fans. Some of the
You can never please those
some of the dereliction of that group.
Well,
Say that he ruined the franchise, and it's like, no, he didn't. I enjoyed the crap out of all of those. They were great.
I'm a fanboy, but I'm not. I tell you what, I even like the prequels. I mean, they're not great, but they're entertaining. They tell a story, and I love the story.
They're better now that I go back and watch them again.
Fair enough. I have not done that in a while.
Because I went back and watched them again.
Well,
after
you probably appreciate them more because you know a little bit more about the background of what's going on because of Star Wars Rebels and Clone Wars and things like that.
Yeah. And you pick out some of those people a little better, like you said, from watching the animated series, which I was
not
late
an
to watch.
Series. I mean, it's an animated series only because it's animated. It's a movie, man. They did a great job. It's a movie. If you haven't watched these things, don't think because I'm an adult I can't watch cartoons. These are animated movies. It's phenomenal.
If you figure each season is, I don't know how many episodes long at 30 minutes apiece, you're watching an epic long movie.
I think Rebels is about 14 to 15 episodes per season at least.
Yeah. I mean, but Clone Wars
was like 20 or 23. Yeah, it was like 20 or 23.
It's just not cost effective for them to make a movie to talk about all this stuff. But when they do it in a series form, which is what Disney Plus is realizing now, because, I mean, they're coming out with all these series. They're like, oh, yeah, people enjoy the crap out of these things, and you get way more viewership out of them, and the fans get the story they want out of them because they're not kind of trying to compress it down to that little, it's got to be within this, 1 hour, 1.5 hour to 3 hour mark. And if it don't do that, we just can't do it. It's just, I don't know how they inflate the budget so bad that they can't do it. They can't seem to rail in their money that way, but yeah, they can do a series and tell a great story from what they're doing, unless it's the fact that those movies have allowed them the technology to then tell the stories through a series that's a lot easier to tell now that all of the props are made and all of the science fiction-y, stuff is already set up.
Sorry, I think that's where we're going to be going. I mean, I think WandaVision kind of taught us that.
Yeah.
Because WandaVision was nothing but a movie. They could have easily done that as a movie.
Yeah.
Because it was what 10 episodes or 9 episodes of an hour, about 45 minutes long. Yeah. So if you put all that together, you're looking at about a 3.5 hour, 4 hour movie.
Right.
Which easily could have been done.
But I mean, that is a hard ticket to sell if you're thinking about the conventional sitting down in a movie theater seat. Right.
And again, I think originally Winter Soldier was supposed to be a movie, and then they saw the thing with the way things were trending, and they decided to go with a series instead.
I'm so glad they did, because if it had been a movie, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, I understand. Well, I haven't even seen the first episode of that yet. I know That's shameful, but still. But I mean, but okay. So back to Lovecraft Country, where we
Back to Lovecraft Country. Okay, so the big thing I put on Facebook was it's everything that I didn't know that I would enjoy in a single storyline. It has the multiverse, it has time travel, it has aliens, it has
magic,
werewolf, magic,
it's
creationism,
racial equality, inequality,
racial inequality, racial equality, shape shifting. And you're like, how did you fit all of this into a story and yet still have a story go along where you're like, I kind of want to see what happens next? I mean, because they did that. They did a really good job of it. I mean, and I know the first episode, most people probably watched the first episode and saw the giant werewolf things and were like, oh, screw that, I'm out, you know? But if they kept watching, holy crap, it is so ingenious. The stuff they did in this is, I've not seen a lot of this stuff done before. I mean,
well, like I said, I personally, I watched the first episode because you were so into it. I said, okay, I'm gonna give it a second episode. The second episode, I was hooked by far. So, like I said, when I told Chrissy about it, I said, you have to be willing to watch 2 episodes back to back. If you're not interested in then, that's fine, no problem. I'll watch it on my own. After the second episode, she's like, can we watch a third one?
Yeah.
And then it was like 4:30 in the morning, and she's like, we need to go to bed.
When you watch some of these, when you watch these later ones, you're literally going to probably want to stand up on your couch and go, what am I watching? Holy crap. Like, it's just every episode. It's like, it's almost like they doubled down every episode after that. It's like, oh yeah, you think that was something? Yeah, watch this.
Well, the last episode I just watched, they really messed me up with him cutting the, never mind, I'm not going to try it. But it's a year old. If you haven't watched it by now.
You can spoil it.
I can spoil a little bit. When his dad cut the throat.
Yeah.
Totally I was like, what? And I'm like, I'm freaking out to watch the next episode right now, but Chrissy really wants to watch it with me. So we plan on watching the episode tonight while we have our wings.
Yeah.
We're making shredder wings tonight.
Hell yeah, baby. What's up?
If anyone doesn't know, Josh has a link to it. It's shredder wings. It's my special wings that they laughed at me about because it took so long. But when they tasted them, they were good.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know, but you worked in a lot of restaurants over the years and you saw little things behind the scenes of, hey, I actually look pretty good. How do you do that? So you asked little questions and then you brought some of that to the table. We had a little cookout there at the lake house and you're like, let me show you guys what I'm going to do. And we raved about them so much that now we're like, I got to figure out how to do this. Like, share the recipe.
It has been shared. I know it.
Now it has its own name. We're like, we're going to make some cheddar wings tonight. Even my wife, she's like, let's do cheddar wings. I'm like, okay.
Listen, all I can say is out of my lifetime travels, do what you do, but the little hint that I can say is find a way to put apple cider vinegar in the sauce. It makes a difference. It really does. It helps especially if you like spicy wings, it helps bring out the flavor and the spice.
And, you know, we talked about that back then about, you know, you would never think to add vinegar to a recipe, apple cider vinegar to a recipe for wings. You're like, apple cider vinegar.
I give credit to a chef in Tennessee. I was working at a pool hall on Monday nights, and we were trying to learn how to bring a better crowd in on Monday nights because it was Monday Night Football. So we did football and wing special.
Yeah.
While you played pool. And he gave me a recipe and it included apple cider vinegar. And I was like, what do you think? He's like, just try it. And we sold wings like you wouldn't believe. So I've kept that recipe kind of in my head since then. Oh, good. That was 20 something years ago.
Well, it was fantastic. I mean, just killer. But yeah, so I mentioned Lovecraft Country. My brother hit me up. He called me. He wanted to talk about it because he's like, you finally watched it. Let's talk about it. I'm like, okay.
Oh, what did Alex have to say about it?
Oh, he loved it.
He watched it originally, right?
He's been trying to get me to watch it for a long time, and I've just been dragging my feet. But you know, they just finished up basketball season, and he said
he's got a little free time now.
Yeah, they went to state. The year he took over this basketball program at Blue Ridge High School in Greer, South Carolina, they only won 3 games the season before, and he's taken them now to regionals every year since. I mean, the first year he was there, he took them to regionals. They lost in the first round, but then they went back the next year. They went back this year. I mean, this year they won regionals and they went to state, and they got knocked off in the first or second round of state. But he's like, you know, it was the one night that we shot the worst we've shot all season. We just happened to shoot 19%. He goes, and we almost won. That was the crazy part. He goes, but the team that beat us ended up winning state. So You go, all right, you
Right,
guys,
yeah. I
good
mean,
for you.
you always want the team that beats you to win it
Yeah,
all because you've lost. See, I've had people that say they don't want that because they don't want the team who beat them to win.
yeah,
I'm under the idea of the team who wins is the team that beat me. Guess what? We lost to the best team.
right. And you go, okay. I mean, there's you gotta have a winner, you gotta have a
Legitimately,
loser.
legitimately we lost to the best team, so we're still pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Speaking
So,
of like, it's a grow period, so I mean, he's done a phenomenal job. It's kind of like what Loyola's doing right now in the tournament.
I haven't been watching it.
Okay, Loyola. You remember a couple years ago they were like the Cinderella.
Yeah,
They had the little nun that was there with them all the time.
yeah.
They just knocked off number one Illinois last night to go to Sweet 16.
What?
They just knocked out number one Illinois
I
and
heard Ohio State.
convincingly.
I heard Ohio State lost to
Ohio State lost to Oral Roberts first
Oral
round.
Roberts. Yeah, Oral Roberts.
Yeah,
Wow.
well, actually, Oral Roberts just beat Florida, so they're going to the Sweet 16 as well.
What?
Yeah, you should look some highlights up. There's been some really good upsets in this tournament.
Mm. Yeah.
A little Texas Christian Abilene
Yeah.
beat Texas, number 3 seed.
Oh wow.
Texas Christian Abilene has only been a D1 school with basketball for like 3 years.
Well, my brother and I had this conversation a long time ago about how a lot of programs are considered like top schools, and that all the recruits want to go to the top schools to be seen. Well, nowadays everybody wants to get into those top schools, so the training programs are that much better across the board. You've got all remember the videos that used to come out on VHS of learn how to play like Ricky Henderson, and he had his own like videos about how to hit and how to steal, and it was all these inside tips. And then they had one from Jose Canseco, and that one
They had one for Cal Ripken, how to
didn't do too good.
hit and feel with Cal Ripken. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah. I mean, the Jose Canseco one was kind of in a vial, but whatever.
Well, yeah,
But still,
that was the bonus features.
it was the beginning of a lot of people going, oh yeah, why don't I try to train in the off season? Because for a while there, a lot of people didn't train in the off season, but the ones who were superior trained year round because they realized, oh, I got to keep at my top physical condition. And if I better myself in the off season, come time to play, I am ready to annihilate. And so that work mentality got into a lot of kids' ideas. Not only that, but there's kids of coaches and ex-players who are like, oh, no, I'm going to keep my kid doing sports year round. They're going to play more than one sport. They're going to be doing
That's the key.
workouts all the time. You're going
That's the key.
Constantly focus their minds and their bodies on getting better and having a faster reaction time and a faster recovery time and getting them used to that work ethic. And then suddenly when they go out there to play their A sport, they're like dominating. Okay, so all of a sudden you have a lot of kids who want to get into top schools. Maybe they don't get in, but maybe they get into the school that's in their local area, and talent will find a way.
Well, not just that, but you also got to understand that it's helped also when DirecTV comes out with all these different packages, ESPN Plus, so it still gets seen on TV.
Yeah, and
they still get eyeballs on them by playing at a smaller mid-major school where they can get, they can be a superstar.
Well, we talked about that before with
John Morant here from South Carolina.
Yeah,
he wasn't Zion Williamson. He didn't get the eyeballs on him like Zion Williamson at Duke, but he won Rookie of the Year, and he's one of the best players in the NBA now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just a few years ago, Butler won, and they were like a mid-major, and they won the tournament. It's like, Butler? Are you kidding me? I mean, but it was talent at the right time and the coaching at the right time that just happened to have the right combination. Coastal Carolina in baseball did that.
Yep.
I mean, they just happened to come along.
They've been building a very good program here for that and for a while.
They have. They absolutely have. But there's a lot of teams out there that are doing the same thing. They're like, hey, this guy used to play ball, but he's, now he's this team's coach or something. And, he's got some local talent it's a lot of promise, and they're working out all the time. And suddenly you get to the big tournament and people get the biggest thing that hurts people is they go, that should be easy.
No.
As soon as you walk into the tournament and you have an inflated idea of who you are and who they are, you're in trouble.
And I honestly think that's what happened with Ohio State. I think they overlooked Roberts because that's Ohio State's mantra. They're always feeling like they belong there. Football, basketball, they're overconfident, and I think that's what happened with them.
Yep, overconfidence is a killer. Which is why
South Carolina did it when I was in school at South Carolina, and we were number 2 seed, and we lost to freaking Richmond Spiders, I believe it was, or no, Coppin State. It was Coppin State. We were number 2 seed, and we lost to Coppin State right out the get-go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but overconfidence is a killer no matter where you are, which is why you see the top programs across the board, and every one of them when you have a top coach, he always downplays everything, and he always says, "Oh, we did terrible. We got a lot of areas to work on." And you're like, "You just defeated this crap out of this team." He's like, "Yeah, we got a lot of things to work on. There's a lot of holes in our game."
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
because
you got
you
to
can't.
have that mentality all the time. You can't. It's almost like you can't take any time off to go, "Wow, we did it." You can do that as soon as you hold the trophy.
Yeah,
But guess what? The next day, it's time to go back to work.
right, 100%.
I mean, that's
And,
everybody
and
hates
I
everybody
mean
hates the Patriots, but that's Bill
that
Belichick
goes
mentality.
that goes for the smaller schools too. I mean, like
Yes.
when Abilene did what they did. I mean, their coach was like, yeah, we had a great night and we did, but we can do better. We didn't do this, we didn't do that.
Yeah.
We got to do those better for the next round.
Yep. I mean, that's the only way you have a successful program is you constantly have to beat yourself up and go, okay, here's my flaws. Here, yeah, we won. Okay, I want to work on these other things. We should have done this. We should have done that. We missed this transition. We missed that defense. We missed, and a lot of it's the coaches. A lot of it's them beating themselves up, going, we should have prepared more for this. We didn't see this coming, and it's always second guessing yourself. And if you don't have that mentality, if you walk into it going, I'm about to show off, yeah, okay, you're about to lose is what you're about to do.
Well, I on a slightly skewed subject, but I just saw a video of Coach Beamer running the stadium stairs with the players. That excited the hell out of me.
Yeah, I like that.
As a Gamecock fan, to watch the coach, I mean, if he's willing to put in the work, they're going to put in the work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he was running stadium stairs with them at the stadium.
Yeah. That's awesome. You start giving them Braveheart kind of, speeches, we're going to walk into hell, brothers, and stuff like that. And they're like, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm going to go with you. Yeah.
So I know that's a little slightly off skew of what we're talking about. We're talking about coaches though, and how they pump up their teams and they, whatever they're always trying to build their players and give them, even though they're giving them confidence, they're also saying, hey, we can do this better, do that better. I think that's the way he's going to be, but yeah, he's willing to do the work himself as well.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. But yeah, if you get a chance, you should check out some highlights if you can from the tournament. It's been a really, really good tournament. There's been some great upsets.
Well, we've been sort of busy here. Not to pivot real hard, but we have been converting the spare bedroom above the garage. We took out carpet and we painted and put down hardwood, and it's been a project. It's been a lot of stuff going on with that. A lot of time and energy spent. We did get one of those therapy massage gun things. I'd seen a lot of videos of people who work out and athletes and stuff like that. Whenever they finish training, they're like, "Oh, this feels so great," and you show them like using that thing on their arms and it's, and it shows
the
muscle ripple.
thing?
Yeah, that therapy gun thing. It looks like a gun, but it just has this little head that kind of does this. Anyway, yeah. I found one online on Amazon for like $107, and normally, the prices on these things get really astronomical. I saw one for $40, but I looked at the reviews and they were like, this thing's garbage. So I found this one that was rated really well. It was like $107. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get it. My wife's been having this hip issue for a long time, and I don't know exactly what's going on. She's having a hip. Whenever she stands too long, her left hip goes numb and her leg goes numb. And I really think it's.
I wonder if she's got a compressed disc that's pinching down.
She's got a compressed disc, yeah. And of course, with that, I mean, there's always that idea of surgery. And if you have surgery, I've never heard of anybody having back surgery and it going well.
I've only heard of 2 or 3, and then out of probably about 10 or 12. I mean, yeah. It's rare.
So she's tried to, over the years, alleviate that kind of pain with certain exercises and things like that. She'd gone to a physical therapist who showed her some stretching things to do. There's not really a lot that's helped, but this thing helped. We after doing all that stuff upstairs, I was like, let's try this out on a low. We'll think about. I mean, you got to think, physiology of how the muscles stretch in that area. I was like, let's just start on the outside. Just if it hurts, tell me to stay away from that area. We'll work around it. And we did, and I just moved it up in intensity a little bit. I was like, is this okay? Is this not okay? And the next day she was like, it actually alleviated that pain and made me feel better. I was like, well, good. I mean, that's the whole point.
It is worth the money. Now, I question this, and it's not a permanent fix, but it did help me when I had my back problem. About once every 6 months, has she gone to a chiropractor?
Yeah. Well, in the past she has, but
that actually does help with the compression because they will stretch it out. They'll bend you a certain way, and it'll bend it so it'll get it off the nerve.
Yeah.
Now it's eventually going to probably, but without surgery, it'll eventually get back on there. But it would give me 2-3 months of somewhat relief.
Right. Yeah. She'd gone to a chiropractor before, but she hasn't gone in a couple years, honestly. But it did help back then. But this thing, I was amazed at it. I mean, after going up and down the stairs so many times, my legs were worn out. I mean, I was feeling it. And she was like, "This is going to be rough on you." And I was like, "Yeah." I said, I actually sat there and I started like using it on my legs, and she was like, "Lay down and I'll do this." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's great." I mean, wow, this is super. I woke up the next day and my legs didn't hurt at all. I was like, awesome. I mean, you always hear about stuff about, breaking up the little acids or whatever that get lactated inside of your muscles or whatever the terms are. I know my brothers listen to this.
The reason why massage feels good. I mean, if you've ever had a professional massage, not an Asian massage, but a professional massage.
Right.
I mean, you feel like $1,000,000. You don't even want to drive the car because you're so just loose and everything.
Yeah, well, this thing worked great. I mean, I am a little ticklish on my feet, so using it on my feet, I'd giggle and I go, wait, it's okay now. Like I just, Anyway.
I don't even know why I know that.
Well, my feet, anyway, so
we won't get into that one.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if she's still alive. But anyway, God rest her soul if she
is.
She's a good girl. Anyway, past that point. Back to stuff I heard.
Yes. So we discussed. I know you watched some other stuff that I haven't, so please feel free.
Superman and Lois, the newest.
Oh, okay. I have not seen the newest episode, but
they apparently come out on Tuesdays. So Tuesday nights 9, I think, is when they come out. I usually watch them on Wednesday. It's pretty good. They're starting to introduce some new characters and some new plot lines, and it's getting more texture to the show. The guy that plays Lois's dad, he was on Nip Tuck years ago on FX. He's kind of a jerk, and he looks like he's going to be a jerk in this too. So anyway, not much to talk about. It's just the story's plotting forward. There's more nefarious things at hand, and
right. Well, he was approached by the Luther character.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like
in this episode, but there is mention of him towards the end.
And I can see him trying to push his dad or her dad, excuse me, his dad, his father-in-law, toward that whole, he's a weapon kind of thing.
Well, and the dad found out about the kid, so.
Oh, okay. See, I haven't gotten there yet.
That adds a new wrinkle, which is a pain in the butt. And there's a new bad guy that showed up that caused a new wrinkle. There's a lot going on. There's also other people with powers there that are like Superman in a way. So
they're kind of doing like a reverse Smallville.
Yes.
Because like the rocks that brought him here were the ones that caused all the people to have special abilities.
Yep.
So there's people in Smallville that have special abilities that hide them because nobody knows what they are, but they're kind of not necessarily because of the meteor rocks, but
and there is a mining company in Smallville. And there's a guy.
That would be why Morgan Edge wants. That's why Morgan Edge wants that mining contract.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can kind of see where it's going to go.
So it's a Smallville for a new generation and for us who liked Smallville originally.
Yeah. So then this guy gets to be basically Trump, and everybody gets to hate him, and I'm sure at some point Superman gets to smash his face.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
So there's that. I don't know. There's something comforting about a series where you kind of know what's going to happen, because when it finally reveals itself, you go, "See, I knew it was going to happen this way." I mean, you know what I mean? It's
the reason I didn't watch Titanic. It's the reason why I didn't watch Titanic. I know the ending,
but it's also the reason we watch Star Wars and Marvel movies, because we know
we love the story.
Going to happen. Yeah, but also
love the story.
We know it's going to happen at some point. Our dude's going to be like,
we want to see how it gets there because we love the story. So we want the knowledge. Bring it down, baby.
At some point, there's going to be where is it? Where's the button?
Come on, man. You should know the button immediately.
Well,
you haven't played with it enough.
I'm looking at it with my bad eye.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Let me open the good eye.
There you go.
At some point, Obi-Wan's going to be like, and you'll be like, it's going to happen now. Like, that's the moment. That's the moment you look forward to. It is predictable in a sense because you know it's going to happen. But when it does happen, you're like, yes, So, like, okay, so Avengers. Whenever Captain America goes, Hulk, smash. I jumped up and
that was
cheered.
Your favorite.
I was like, yes!
I remember you making a statement about that whenever it was done because I hadn't seen it yet, and you were talking about how he just destroyed those aliens, and it was it's like your favorite part of the whole movie.
It's my favorite part of the movie because up to then they were like, don't cause too much chaos. Like, be careful. Everybody be careful around Hulk. Everybody be careful. And all of a sudden you're like, Hulk, just smash. And he goes, oh, and just starts destroying everything. You're like, yeah, now we're talking. So anyway, I did watch I watched the new episode of The Falcon and Winter Soldier. So in the previews, they kind of let you know that Cap's gone and somebody else has to be Captain America or is supposed to be Captain America. And these guys are sort of moving forward with their life. This is supposed to be taking up after Ultron and after Thanos. I mean, we saw in the battle with Thanos, the Avengers Endgame, where the Winter Soldier had been off. Bucky had been off. I hate calling him Winter Soldier. Bucky, although Bucky sounds dorky.
I'm going Winter Soldier.
Bucky was off with the Wakanda tribe, getting his arm mended and getting to be a total, awesome dude. They sort of, deprogrammed his brain to be a good guy again. And they talk about that in the show. They talk a little bit about Sam as the Falcon, what his responsibility is, what he feels is his responsibility. A lot of people want him to be Captain America. Brody's in it now. The Iron Man sidekick guy.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle.
Warhammer.
War Eagle.
Warhammer.
Yeah. Don Cheadle. I mean, so it's supposed to be after Tony Stark's gone. Captain America's apparently gone. And now it's like, okay, who's going to be Captain America? Who's going to be the face of America? Who's going to be the face of freedom? Who's going to be the face of, all this bad in the world? We need a symbol. And so they're struggling with that. And at the end of the first episode, they unveil this is the guy that's going to be Captain America. And you're like, who the hell is that? Like, as soon as you see it, like, I thought it was Casey Neistat at first. I was like, is that Casey Neistat wearing Captain America's outfit? I had to Google it. It's some guy who is what is it? Kurt Russell's kid.
Okay.
What's his name? I wrote it down, but I can't read it. I'm looking at my good anyway, Kurt Russell's kid. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell had a son, and this is the guy. And he apparently was a professional hockey player. And then since then, he's done a few movies here and there. He was actually in a Black Mirror episode, and I thought he was really good. I looked him up to see who he was, and I was like, no kidding, that's who that is? But anyway, he's wearing the outfit, and he's going to be a regular on the show, so he's going to be a big part of this as well. But his face kind of looks like a troll because it's kind of smushed up like this. Like, he's got really wide eyes, but his brow comes really far down. And it's kind of smushed up in the costume. It looks like he's kind of pushed in there, but his eyes are wider. I can't do it with my face. Anyway, you got to see it. It's like, what the hell did they do?
Well, I definitely intend on watching the show. I just haven't had a chance to. Like I was telling you earlier, I've done nothing but adult.
I know. So that's good. It's going to get great. I think it's going to right now. It's watchable.
It's thumbs up, okay. But you can see growth. You can see growth period. Like,
well, listen, they didn't fail on WandaVision. They're not going to fail on this. There is a bigger story and there's going to be a Hulk smash moment where these two guys are going to come together and they're both basically going to be Captain America. I mean, I got friends that I work with that are comic book nerds, and they're like, listen, both guys are Captain America at some point. One guy is, and then the other guy takes it over, is how the story goes. But they're probably going to write it where both guys take turns being him because it needs to happen. And I was like, oh, okay, that'd be cool. So anyway, I don't know. I'm
It's
just along
basically
for the ride. I got my popcorn and my soda pop, and I'm like, let's go get them.
each one has their strengths, so it depends on what strengths needed
Yeah,
to be the leader of that
and
time.
they don't get along right now. I
Right?
mean,
No,
right. I mean, because you know, one guy is basically immortal, like Cap was, but for a long time he was the bad guy, and now he's supposed to be a good guy. So the other guy has basically been acting like Captain America with the Falcon suit on, but he's not immortal. He's just really awesome. I mean, and he can fly.
yeah, it's like Batman versus Superman.
The outfit's really cool. Um, so I don't know. They're gonna have animosity. There's gonna be a with every story you have to have conflict, right? So they're
Of
going to be
course.
fighting against each other, and then at a certain point they have to come together to beat the bad guy. Now they showed the bad guy, and I actually Googled to see who it was. It's a UFC fighter named George St. Pierre. He is a bad motherfucker.
I know the name, and if I saw
They,
his face, I probably know who he is.
he goes by the acronym GSP. He's just whenever he shows up to fight, oh, it's GSP versus blah blah blah. And at one time he held the belt in two different weight classes and held it for a long time, and nobody could beat him. He finally just retired. He was like, yeah, whatever, you can't defeat me. I think I'm done. I'll go make movies. What's this guy going on? Marvel? Yeah, sure, I'll be a bad guy.
Sure, why not?
Put me in the outfit. I can throw people around.
It worked for Batista.
Right, yeah. So I think it's going to be cool. The big one I wanted to talk about was Boss Level, which you haven't seen yet, but I'll just tell you what I told you earlier. Boss Level is a really cool movie. It's out on Hulu right now. It's got the guy who is in all of the Captain America movies that was the military guy that he always fought with. His name's Frank Grills. Um, the guy looks like he's carved out of wood. I mean, he's just chiseled. And he's funny. This is a funny, fun movie, but it's also bloody and gory and silly and dark, and it's a guy movie. I mean, it's if you watch the previews for Boss Level, go on YouTube and watch the previews. Um, it looks like he's stuck in a video game type system where he just keeps having to live the day while getting killed every day because people are after him. All these assassins are after him. And he gets killed over and over and over and over and over again. He's trying to figure out how to fix it, and he can't. And it's a fun storyline. It's got a lot of stupid guy humor in it. And if you enjoy that, you're going to enjoy the crap out of this, because I enjoyed the crap out of this. I was like, this is a lot of fun. So I think you're going to enjoy it. I think Alex is going to enjoy it. I think a lot of people are going to enjoy it once they finally watch it, and they're going to be like, dude, that was so much fun. And I'm going to be like, see? Yeah.
Yeah, that was still be
Boss
wrong.
Level.
And I saw the preview for it, and it looked phenomenal after you talked about it. So I wanted to look at it. I honestly hadn't realized that it was out. I guess I should have when I saw that you mentioned it on Facebook, but I just
It's got there is a cameo by Gronk. Remember
Oh, really?
the couple of years Gronkowski was not playing football? He apparently was also filming this movie. If you go to watch the film, there's a guy in a helicopter shooting a machine gun and killing this main character over and over and over again. Gronk is the guy in the machine gun hanging out the helicopter.
It's like Howie Long in 3,000 Miles to Graceland.
Yeah. Mel Gibson is the big star in this, but
That's what I was saying. I thought I saw Mel Gibson was in this as well.
he's supposed to be the boss, I guess. His next in charge is Will Sasso, which is he's a giant man.
I know
He's
who
a
Will
comedian.
Sasso is. He's a comedian, yeah.
Yeah, he did Mad TV years ago.
Yep, I know who Will Sasso is.
Really funny guy. He's funny in this too. There's a lot of comedians in this. Dr. Ken is in this. A lot of people remember him from the Hangover movies.
Yeah, Ken Jeong.
Yep. And so this is good. Naomi Watts is his sort of love interest, ex-wife, wife. Not really sure the parameters of what that entails. But it's interesting. It's a very interesting movie. It's a lot of fun. I mean, you don't have to spend a lot of time going, what are they doing? Because they'll explain everything. Like you get to his inner
So
dialogue.
it's just good entertainment.
He's got his inner dialogue the whole time going. And then there's this guy. Look at this guy. What? Oh God, he's gonna kill you this way. You know how many times I've died this way? Like, and there's a counter that shows every time he died what he's doing to start over the day.
So there's a little Deadpool kind of
Yes.
idea of humor in this.
Yes.
Okay, so that's what when you mentioned it and I saw the review, I kind of thought Deadpool
meets
video.
This is Deadpool meets Groundhog Day with a video game element.
So it's Groundhog Day, Deadpool, and
Kill Bill.
Scott Pilgrim Saves the World.
Yeah, all of that mixed in.
you got the game aspects. You got the rebirth as and then finally you got the Deadpool kind of dark comedy, funny, bloody.
They probably pitched it that way, and they went, "I'll buy it."
I mean, like I said, from the preview, it looked phenomenal, and then now that you've said you've seen it, I definitely want to see it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I did a podcast with
Victor. I haven't heard a chance to hear. I haven't had a chance to hear it yet.
With some sweetgrass vodka, locally sourced in Charleston.
Now, was he there?
Potatoes, water, and yeast. That's it.
Was he there with you, or did you do a Zoom cast?
No, he came here.
Okay, I thought I saw a picture of him there. I didn't know if that was him or not.
Yeah, he came here. He was in the area. He's going back and forth. You know, he's got family here and family there, and trying to do business and trying to get his vodka into places and stuff like that. And so it's a lot of travel involved. But he happened to be in the area, and I told him, I said, the one thing I want to talk about is your story about how a year ago, basically, you had a chance to, fulfill your ambition and come out with your own brand of vodka, and hey, big success, we're going to do it, yay! And all of a sudden, a global pandemic hits, and you're like, oh crap! And so they basically pivoted their entire line and just started making hand sanitizer, and gave a bunch of it away to first responders and hospitals within the area and in the state, because they were like, people are in need, and we have the ability to help, so let's help.
They were literally getting ready to launch. They hadn't even launched it, right? They were getting ready to launch right about this time last year.
And of course, anytime you're in a business venture like that, your hope is that you can make money. But they basically hemorrhaged money and just took a huge loss for a long time, just trying to do the right thing. And then now times come around where they can start making their brand again.
And I promise you, those people they gave those free hand. They're going to be buying some sweetgrass vodka. So it's going to come back.
I hope that the word gets out there and that people support local and they can get behind this. It's definitely a good opportunity for a lot of local people to do good, and they have helped out their community tremendously, and will continue to. I mean, so it's a good podcast to check out. Definitely check out their online presence. They've got an Instagram account, Sweetgrass Vodka, and on Facebook they have their own page. But they've got lots of information coming up about where you can get it. And if you don't have it locally, you can ask your people to get it, and they will, because it's available in South Carolina everywhere. And other states are coming right along. So,
and if you're listening to this and you don't believe that social media can make an impact like that, ask Mr. Peak here about what happened with Tubbs.
Oh, yeah, Tubbs.
And how social media.
Dude, our local Tubbs, we have a Tubbs Seafood and Shrimp. They're on Second Loop Road. It's a group of guys that own a restaurant. They own Tubbs, King Hefe, Pizza Mio. They're tied into some of the Stefano family in a way. It's a family affair, but good people during the pandemic, when all this stuff started happening and they couldn't make a living by having people in their restaurants. They thought, okay, let's think outside the box. Let's start delivering food. Let's start doing whatever we got to do. They invested in getting a steamer trailer, and they would pull these steamer trailers and they would have cookouts. They would have, broils, low country broils, and, invited people, come get you a plate. And they were able to basically feed all of their people, their employees and everybody during this pandemic, and the local people could come by and support, and everybody did. And the other night, I think it was Monday or Tuesday night, their steamer trailer got stolen. I think it was Monday night. Yeah, Monday night. It got stolen from their restaurant. They had it apparently locked up, and somebody came, cut the locks, and took off with it. Now, Kyle he's sort of the voice of the three guys that own the place. He's sort of like a pro wrestler, the way he talks. He gets fired up, man. He's He's a heck of a presence. I think I had him on episode 76 here of the podcast. You can hear his origin story about how they got this thing started, but he got on Facebook and he said, we're looking for a way to find this, and if anybody can help, there's a reward. We're putting up $1,000, and apparently over time, other people called in and said they would give money. At one point, it was up to $4,000 reward. The initial video got shared. The last time I looked at it, over 4,000 times of them looking for this steamer trailer, and it was shared so much that somebody in Lexington, which is a good hour and a half away, found it and called it in and said, "Hey, I think this is you guys' trailer, and it's got your name on it." And a deputy there rolled up, called it in, let him know, "Hey, we've got your trailer here. We're gonna make sure it's secure, and you guys come pick it up." So
yeah,
everybody came together and shared it, and thank you to everybody who had something to do with that. A lot of people reshared it on Facebook. A lot of people talked about it. I talked about it on the podcast, and getting the word out there through community, through social media. We got a lot done, and we can do a lot with this brand, with this Sweet Grass Vodka
so
brand.
that's what I'm saying. So if you just spread the word, buy a bottle, check it out, and then put it on YouTube, put it on Facebook. Hey, I bought this vodka. It's fantastic. I'm telling you, it works. The proof's in the pudding.
I'm not sponsored by them. I only talk about stuff that I like, and so I'm talking about this. So there you go. So anywho, thank you for doing this with me.
Of course, man.
I know
I'm sorry I missed last week.
I know you've been adulting like crazy today. Or this past week. I can see it in your eyes. I miss you, buddy. I lost your voice. Did you mute yourself? What did you do? I think I lost him.
Better internet connection.
There you are.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I got to get a better internet connection. It does it once or twice every time we do a podcast. But yeah, no, I'm sorry I couldn't do it last week, but it was just timing was different, but it worked out great because you could do the podcast with Vic the next day.
Yeah.
And so, you said you had a few things that you wanted to get out as well. So.
Yep.
But anytime I can do one, I would love to do it. And I appreciate you letting me do this one with you.
I love you.
You, brother. You know that.
Good
always
to see
forever.
Good to see you. You got anything to promote? See if you had something you could promote your thing.
Yeah, I know. I know. You don't have to keep reminding me.
Start making beats or painting or something. I don't know. Make candles. I watched this TikTok of this lady today who made candles, and she's like, "I made these 100 candles, and from that I made $1,800." And I'm like,
well,
I'm doing something wrong.
You know my thing. I do.
And
I do that, but I can't really promote that on.
Yeah. Well, I'm just.
I can just say if you've got a Fire Stick and it doesn't seem to be making you happy, you can text me or hit me up on Facebook. I can make it happy.
Yeah. All right. So, thank you everybody who's watched and listened. We appreciate you. Please remember to rate, review, and share and subscribe. This does help us out. It helps us promote this thing and continue and makes us feel like we're doing something. I feel like I'm doing something.
You are. You obviously are. I mean, look, you shared what you shared about the Tubbs thing.
Yeah.
I shared it as well, and because I shared it, I got to see the beautiful footage of him saying it was found and doing his little video out in the parking lot, and the employees are all happy, and it brought a smile to my face, even though I've never even eaten there.
Yeah.
So I mean, it does work, and you're making a difference, bro.
Yep. Thank you again, everybody. We love you. Tune in next time, and as always, cue the cow.